Get her done.
Hey there guys, welcome back to rccar. So I think it's time to start cutting this body, and I thought it was going to be a straightforward deal, but this body has multiple cut lines on it for the different models of the Ultima, so I'm going to have to be careful when I cut this out to make sure that I'm cutting on the right lines here. Luckily I've got my old shell here, and then that shell there to kind of help me as a guide. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hopefully it works out okay. I really don't want to screw this body up. Wasn't the easiest thing in the world to trim out, but bodies never are. Got the wing cut out, so just need some warmer weather to get this thing painted. My next big hurdle here is the wing. So I've got the Traxxas bandit set up for this, and it fits in there pretty well, but it sits real low. It's very tight. I mean, when that gets, there's little ridges on this post, and when they stick, they really stick in there and they don't want to come out. And I'm worried that if I get this body put on there and I get that put down in there with this wing on there, just to get that out of there, I'm gonna have to have so much force. I'm afraid I'm gonna tear that wing. It probably will be okay, I'm just not sure. So that's my next dilemma. It's really hard to find. I mean, you can't find the original ones. I did buy some piano wire, but unfortunately it's not long enough. Maybe I can source some longer piano wire and bend one of these that actually will fit right. That's my next hurdle. Hopefully I can find a solution to that, but as soon as the weather warms up, I'm going to get this painted. This is the setup that I'm thinking about going with. I'm going to have to feed this wire underneath the battery here, so I think I'm going to have to take this battery brace off here and file the bottom of it down so I can feed this wire, servo wire through to the receiver, kind of like that, and feed that wire through there. The ESC I'm just going to place kind of in this position here. I'm going to go ahead and use some of these 4mm plugs. I'm just going to do away with the Dean's connectors and just solder those right to the ESC, so that'll be nice and clean. Need to solder some wire leads onto the motor. That's not a big deal. Got this little old piece of antenna here to kind of protect the wire from the receiver as it sits in the chassis here. But I'm going to go ahead and use some of this antenna tube. I'll run that through there. And I don't think I'm going to have the antenna tube coming out of the body. I think I'm just going to bend that over and have it come out this way and just tuck that in underneath the body so you won't even see it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get this brace pulled off here, this battery brace. There we go. All right, I'm going to get that bottom of that file down. Okay, with that piece out of there, I'm just going to show you what I'm talking about here. I'm going to feed this wire. There's a little groove underneath here. It's hard to see, but I'm going to feed that wire underneath there, like so. And then my battery should fit in there nice and free like that. My strap will go around there. That strap will actually go over that, and it should protect that wire from getting rubbed from the battery. So that's my plan. I'm going to go ahead and get that filed down. Okay guys, I got that little piece put in there, the support there. I thought I'd show you guys what I did here. So first off, since I'm going to hold this down with a battery strap here, Velcro strap, I put this little piece of Velcro in there so that the bottom of this piece actually will kind of stick to that, and it'll keep this battery strap where I want it, so I'm not chasing it around all the time. And to retain that wire, I went ahead and used some real thin pieces of this foam tape on this side and on this side. And the battery fits in there with this strap. It fits in there really well, nice and secure, and I'm confident it's not going to rub on that servo wire there. Get this where I want it. Yeah, that fits on there nice and tight. So I'm going to move on to putting the ESC and the receiver in there. So before I get those put in there, I'm going to stick those down with some of this clear double-sided sticky tape. I use this on my electronics because it doesn't stick as well as this gray stuff does, but it comes off a lot easier. So if you want to, pull your ESC or your receiver out of there, you're not fighting it, you're not having to peel that stuff off. This stuff, usually if you want to peel it off, it comes off in one nice piece and doesn't leave a lot of residue behind. All right guys, the receiver's in there. I got the antenna mounted up. I was hoping that the antenna wouldn't come quite this far. I was hoping it'd stick back behind the battery here, just give it a little bit of a cleaner look, and it would be out of the way of the battery. Not a big deal. Still, you can still get the battery in and out of there real easy, not a problem. Ultima receivers just have a really long antenna lead. So anyway, it is what it is. I'm going to move on to getting the ESC put in there. I'm going to have to swap out, take this XT90 off of there, and put the 4mm plugs on there, and then I'll have to solder some wires on the motor. And so anyway, I'm going to get that done and get this thing going. Okay, I got the ESC in there. I got the 4mm plug soldered onto the ESC leads to the battery, and those are going to work out real nice. They're going to be a lot more compact than, say, using a T-plug adapter on the battery and then going from that to the ESC. When you do that, there's just a lot of wires, and they want to flop around inside the body there and stuff, and maybe scratch the body, and it just looks unsightly. So this looks a lot cleaner. Everything's nice and tight. Everything's just has a really nice clean look to it. I like that. The antenna lead is going to work fine. I was a little bit concerned about that, but I think it's going to work fine. If you want to get the battery in and out, you just slide the thing over and then slide it back. And by the time you put the body on there, it's not going to move around. So that looks really nice. I'm really, really happy with that. The transmitter I'm going with is a Futaba 3PV. I've got it all set and everything now. It took me a while to relearn the settings. Every time I pull this controller out, I got to pull the manual out just to make sure that I'm setting everything right. But everything's set. My endpoints and everything are set, so everything's working fine. Everything sounds really healthy. So I did have a 19 tooth pinion on here, but I went ahead and took that off, put a 14 on there. I just thought that might be too high. I think the stock pinion on these might be a 14 tooth. I can't remember. But anyway, I'll see how it goes. If it's not fast enough with that 14, I'll probably throw that 19 on and see how that goes. I'm just concerned that 19 might get this motor a little bit too hot. I did take it outside for a quick drive, just up and down the driveway here, and I didn't want to get it too muddy, so I didn't get too crazy with it. And it ran just fine, nice and straight. Everything sounded healthy. Next step is to go ahead and move on to the body and get that painted. Yeah, it's a nice day, 47 degrees out, I think. So I think I'm going to go ahead and paint the shell. I got my heater on, got my paints warming up. A little cooler in here actually than it is outside. Got my body all masked off. Get my gloves off. So this bulky body, the window mask that came with it, they're a little bit different. They're not like your traditional window masking material, which is kind of like a painter's tape. This stuff's a real thin, almost like a decal. It was a little tricky to get on, but I think it's going to really have some nice tight paint lines there. You're not going to have a bunch of bleeding, I hope. But they're a little tricky to get on, but they should work out really, really nice. I'm going to paint, like I said, that's going to be painted white. Wings going to be painted white. And I've got these back wings here. This is the one. This is the one that came with the body. I'm going to paint that white. And believe it or not, I have the vintage one from my Turbo Ultima. And I bought this other blue. And I don't think I actually had thought about painting the body this blue, but I think I'm going to paint that back wing that color. And if it looks nice, I'm going to put that on the back just to give it a little bit of contrast. I got the decals all on, and it is done finally. Seems like this taking forever to get this car done. Just life's been getting in the way, and just haven't had time to come out and really mess with it. But the decals are all on there. I will point out a couple things. These are MCI decals, and I learned my lesson with them. Once they're stuck down, you don't want to try to peel them back up and put them back down, because it does something to the underneath of the decal. It kind of takes the color off of them. I haven't had that experience with other decals that I've had to kind of slightly move, but as soon as I pulled this one up, it started to kind of, you can see the white underneath the blue there, because I don't know, the color underneath there, I don't know how it's printed, but it wants to kind of peel off of there. So I had to put some stickers on it there, that Le Mans sticker, and just to kind of cover up the boo-boo that I kind of created by doing that. But other than that, they went on fairly easy. The wing was kind of challenging. I should have cut out the blue part here in the Ultima, and then probably this part separately and put it on as 3 different decals. Did get some air bubbles in there, so anyway, it is what it is. You can't tell 5 feet away, you know, so I'm not going to worry about it. Turned out really nice. Happy with the body. I like the blue colors that I went with on the you know, the variation from the original Ultima Pro. I think they look really nice. The Traxxas Bandit wing bullets here worked out really well. So, you know, if you need some vintage bullets, I would go ahead and pick you up some Traxxas Bandit ones. The wire that I used here, one of my buddies had some, I think it's servo wire for airplanes, some linkage wire. He gave me some of that, and it's hardened like the regular wing wire would be. So, you know, after bending that, it worked out fine for that. Fits in the wing mount post just fine. So anyway, guys, I'm going to do a run video on this here sometime soon when the weather warms up just a little bit. And today it's really windy out, so I don't really feel like running this today out there. So I'll probably just do a standalone video on that. But anyway, guys, this is done. I'm so happy with the way it turned out, and I really appreciate you guys tuning in for all my videos. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and thanks for tuning in. I'll tell you what, guys, it's windy out, but I can't resist. I got to at least take it for a little spin through the driveway here. So sweet. All right, guys, appreciate you guys tuning in.